Guys, I'm so done. I am so done right now. Joly has got another label that he's now slamming onto one of his other children. So he's got a transgender daughter, he's got a naughty son who is a typical boy, who is Anna. It's Anna's toxic boy mum persona. Now he's got the neurodivergent one, which he just loves slapping those labels on. He actually did try coining this particular child something completely different when he turned around. This is a little while ago now. He turned around and said, "I'm not the only non-binary one," or something. This was during the peak Sacconejoly "I'm non-binary" situation, where he now completely discredits that whole entire thing. So ridiculous. Anyway, I wouldn't even bring this up if it wasn't for the fact that Sacconejoly has a thing for labels, and this is his chance to create a whole entire new label, considering he used to bang on and on and on about how his childhood was so awful because he felt like he was like trapped and he couldn't escape from the person that everyone thought he was, and and he doesn't like identifying as anything because he doesn't agree with labels. Considering all of that, okay, he sure does like to label his own children. He sure does. And the thing is that he labels them because it then just basically becomes their online personality. So we're going to go and we're going to give this little TikTok a watch. And just before we watch it, I just want to make it abundantly clear that I am not talking out against people who are neurodivergent. She might be like the child might be. Once again, we're going to get into some comments on it. It's nothing like that, so please don't get it twisted. I'm not coming for Jonathan because he's saying one of his kids is neurodivergent and they are not. That's not what I'm saying. They very well could be. That isn't what I am talking about. I'm talking about Jonathan's need to label all of his children and how it is a massive problem. And a lot of other people pick up on it as well, because as soon as one label starts dying out, he just likes to bring on other ones. And this has literally been a reoccurring theme for the past couple of years. So yeah, we're going to get into it.
The shopping just came and I decided I'm going to order it all in rainbow order. If you want to help me be a good lad, then you can go ahead and try and unpack everything.
And be a good lad. I have a horrible cold, by the way, in case you think my voice sounds funny. Oh, big old bunch of M&Ms.
Yay!
What comes after red in the rainbow?
What school did you go to again? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, and we're done. We got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink.
Let's come to your house and colour coordinate your shopping. Leave a comment below. It's available at weekends.
Just send me your address.
So in his TikTok, he basically shows his eldest kid putting away the shopping, but before they do so, they put everything into like color coordinate it all. So it is colors of the rainbow. And he labels the actual video life with a neurodivergent. Now, you guys know exactly how I feel about his need to label everything. I feel like I don't even need to go into too much depth of this, but I am going to read some comments because Jonathan has replied to a few of these comments and he kind of contradicts himself and people are just left being a little bit confused. Now, I don't really want to spend this video discussing, what exactly his eldest kid has been diagnosed with to make them neurodivergent. It's their business. It is completely their business. It's not my business. It shouldn't be Jonathan's business to be kind of, labeling everyone and just letting everyone know. And not that there's anything the matter with being neurodivergent, but he has, he has a real problem with labeling and his kids can't consent to this information being put online. So I'm not really quite sure when it was. I think it was a couple years ago now. This same kid was diagnosed with dyscalculia. At least I think they were diagnosed with it. And Jonathan and Anna were talking about it. Of course they were. Whenever anything new happens with any of their kids, they just flock straight to their socials to tell everyone. But then here is Jonathan in the comment section saying that he thinks that they are both on the spectrum for ADHD. So I will bring up this comment right here. Someone says, my neurodivergent brain puts it all in the kitchen and walks away and hopes it sorts itself. It's too overwhelming. And Jonathan Jolie said, me and child are on the ADHD spectrum and it makes us do stuff like this. Now, in another comment, he does go on to say, when someone questions, literally saying, like, questions what is going on, Jonathan turns on and says, you know, we did a video on it. They were diagnosed a couple of years ago. But over here, he's saying that they're on the ADHD spectrum, so that's the reason why they do stuff like this. Now, I'm not here questioning what a child's diagnosis is. That is not it whatsoever. He's giving two separate answers because I don't think we ever saw them go for a ADHD diagnosis. I believe it was for dyscalculia. I think that is the proper term for it. So I'm not very sure exactly what Jonathan is talking about, but a lot of people are very confused. And bear this in mind, most of his fans are so young, they don't even know what neurodivergent means. They're literally out here in the comments being like, what is a neurodivergent? What is it? And then half of them aren't even spelling it right. So I'm just like, I'm so confused. He traded so much of his audience for literal children who watch his kids now. And I know him and Anna had a very young fan base, but it's gotten younger because, of course, his kids are the only ones that really feature in any of their content now. Their kids literally are the content. So yeah, a lot of his audience doesn't even understand what he's going on about. Someone goes on to say, oh, did the trans thing get a bit boring? Quick, label another of your children. Someone else said, oops, gotta label the next kid. Either the kids will have TikTok's version of DID next. And then a really, really, really good point is being brought up in the sense that one of their younger kids, this was a little while ago now, people were pointing out that this child was like displaying signs of being autistic. And of course, I think it's really wrong for people to be kind of speculating on this kind of stuff. However, I think that a lot of people were trying to come from a good place in the sense that they have, you know, autistic sons, daughters at home, and they could kind of spot the signs if, you know, Anna and Jonathan couldn't. So I think a lot of people were just trying to come at it from a good place. Jonathan and Anna just refused to listen to it, would block and delete anyone who was questioning it. And not only that, but I remember, and it's really funny because it's now being brought up, I can't remember where this clip is. I don't know where it came from, but it did definitely happen when they questioned them about, you know, is your kid autistic? Like, that looks like they're showing some signs. Jonathan turned around and said, no, we don't have any broken babies here. I remember distinctively him saying that, and sure enough, people are bringing this up in the comment section. So over here, someone said, when people said child had autistic traits, you ignored all comments, but now suddenly the other child is neurodivergent. And this is another comment which sparked my remembrance in this comment that Jonathan made about, you know, Jonathan and Anna don't have broken babies. Like, what kind of a statement is that? It's absolutely appalling. And someone said when someone questioned years ago about one of his kids being autistic, his exact comment was, we don't have any broken babies here. And people are in agreement that is so vile. Now, that comment is literally absolutely repulsive. A child or an adult, you know, who is neurodivergent, or maybe they have learning difficulties, or whatever the case may be, is not broken. Like, that is just such a horrible thing to say. And the thing is, he's like a fully fledged adult saying that kind of thing. It's just the absolute ignorance. Like, this isn't a teenager or a child saying that. This is a fully, like, what, a couple years ago, how old would he have been? He would have been in his 40s, wouldn't he? This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's just honestly no excuse. And, you know, him and Anna used to take the mickey. Like, there are video clips, and you can definitely still find them, of them, like, giggling and laughing at their child, who has now come out as transgender, wearing dresses and things. Like, there's literal video footage of them both laughing and, like, kind of almost taking the mickey out of it. So they, like, yes, maybe your opinions can change, and he doesn't think this anymore, but this is it was just not a good look. And here he is basically using this this whole tagline thing, trying to make another thing happen. He's trying to make neurodivergent happen. He's trying to make that into another label that he's going to use. And I wouldn't be surprised if he carries on doing it, because the more outraged people are, the more comments, the more interaction his channel gets, the more money he gets. And that's basically the gist of it. But I don't think it's right for him to keep on labeling his kids like this. I don't think it's very fair, whether, you know, whatever the case may be. I don't think it is right. And, you know, there's nothing the matter with people wanting to celebrate the fact that they are neurodivergent, and, you know, parents being able to give tips and tricks on how they manage to help themselves when they're neurodivergent. There's nothing the matter with any of it. But there is something the matter with him exploiting this, and it's like how he exploits the whole transgender issue. He'll find something and he'll exploit it. It's like when they kind of created this toxic boy mum persona with their youngest kid, and Anna still does that to a certain degree. She realized that she was getting a lot of traction off of kind of almost pretending to, you know, be a toxic boy mum, and her little boy could do no wrong, and he's allowed to hit, punch and kick his sisters because he is the boy and he's allowed to do that. And his mum, you know, they come up with this kind of stuff all the time, and they just add a whole new identity to each child, and that is who they're going to be portrayed as online. And I just think it's very Truman Show vibes, to be honest. But those are my thoughts and feelings on this situation. What do you guys think of this? Do you think this is another tactic from Jonathan? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and feelings. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.